Welcome back to a new camera, a new microphone, and a new tutorial right here on the Evil Ted channel. This time we're going to do male foam cosplay body armor. I have a mannequin form I'm going to build from, but for you people out there who don't have a mannequin form, the link down below is Abby Darkstar's best duct tape dummy tutorial. Go ahead, take the time out, make yourself one. You won't regret it. It'll be great to have one. Because once you have it, you can build off of it. Now, let's talk design. For all you out there, I'm sure you have something you want to build. For me, I am doing this tactical body armor. I was inspired by a movie called Natural City. It's a Korean sci-fi movie, kind of inspired by Blade Runner. And these SWAT guys had some really cool tactical body armor. And once I saw it, I thought that'd be something really cool to build. I'm going to use that as my inspiration to build from. Now that we got the design, let's start making the pattern. Okay, here's my body form, and of course you notice right off the bat, I have a line right smack down the middle. I do this in the front and the back, because this helps me when I pattern to make armor, to keep it symmetrical. As a matter of fact, I'll show you as we go. Now with the paper pattern, you can actually see where the center line comes in handy. What this does, allows me to draw, pull everything out, dead center, and so whatever I do on one side, I'll just be able to flip it, it'll be perfectly symmetrical. Well, right now, I was looking at my design, pull out the chest piece, and I'm realizing the way this chest is designed, there's a secondary piece that kind of comes in and goes underneath, which will probably be two pieces. I have a piece of foam here, another piece that cuts underneath, which will change this bottom line, so I can't really plot out this armor yet until I do this first. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and cut this out so I can start plotting out my pattern for the secondary piece. Now, I have this. Let's go ahead and cut this guy out. To have this cut out, I want to do a beveled edge on this. We pen. Good old straight pens. Try to tell you a little bit of the method behind my madness is, this edge is where I want to join the piece of foam. And so, right off the bat, I'm going to do a slight 45 on this edge only. There you go, see, nice and sharp. Now, once again, when cutting foam, it's so soft it dulls the blade quickly. So before I start to do my 45, I'm going to sharpen it again one more time. Kind of come in a little bit. But once again, there it is, and there's my 45. Now that I have this on here, I want to shape this up because the chest I want it to be curved, and I want this to be a little bit more curved too. So let's pull out the heat gun. Okay, so there you go. Now I have got my bevel, and I got my slight curve. Now that I have this curved what I like, I have this really thin, this is the Petite matte foam. This is like 3/8 inch. I like this stuff because it's thin. And the reason I'm using this is because my whole mission is I want a piece of foam to come up here and sit at a particular angle. And to find that, I just kind of what I do is I take this guy, I bend the foam where I like it, and I just kind of pin it on. So here's what we're going to do. I know you're like, what are you talking about, Ted? Trust me, this all makes sense in the end. I'm going to take some foam like so. And I just going to pin it. Looks a little crazy, but as you can see, I want to make sure I have the foam at the angle I like. This is going to be a slight angle. And this line right in here is what I want. This is where I take my Sharpie. This is why I did the smooth side in, because I'm going to come back in here and trace it. All right. Now this flat edge right here is the start edge for this guy. And over here I'll make a mark. As you can see right here where the foam ends, I'll make a mark right there. So I know that's where it's going to end. Now, take my pins out. This mark. So now right here, what I do, got this guy apart. This is my edge I want. So I'll label this. That's going to be my top. That's the bottom, so I don't get confused, because that's going to be the bottom of the chest, lips. So now, I know, everybody, stick with me. This is my inside edge I like, so I go and cut like this. There we go. See? Now, what we're going to do with this is I'm going to transfer this to paper. So trace this. That's my end line right down here. My X-ACTO blade. This will be the method to my madness. Here we go. I have to start with the top first. Right here. I use scotch tape because it makes it easier when we cut off later. So, this is where the madness makes sense. What I'm going to do, this is my pattern, and this is going to directly cut underneath the chest. So I'm just going to, here, and the arm, this is going to be the chest piece. This will drop off, like so. Before I take this apart, we make our registration marks. Mark. Now, I just realized, before I take this all apart and cut it out, I need to kind of some gauge lines I think about, and I want to add some paper to this. What I'll do is like take some spray 77. I'm just going to dust a little bit right here on the edge and place this underneath my pattern. Now that we got this, I'm going to let's do a test fit on my body form real quick. I lay it up right here. You can see where it's going to fit. And as you can see, I went back and kind of I had the edge done, and I did a test fitting. It all fitted to exactly where I want it. I'll take this guy apart, make it into a foam pattern. There we go. Now I have that done. Have this roughed out. We take our trusty X-ACTO blade. This is where the scotch tape comes in handy, because I'm going to take my X-ACTO blade and cut the scotch tape. Okay, now we get this cut out. Let's cut out our notches. Now that our Sharpie marks are registration marks, we have to be able to transfer these guys over to foam. So what I need to do is I always like to cut out the thickness of the Sharpie. Like here, a little bit of triangle, like so. See? And it's not. So when you're going ahead to transfer this onto your foam pattern, when you go to trace this down, you'll have your registration marks. Okay, I have my chest piece armor here. I have the side piece and my chest pattern. But now I got this all figured out with the depth. I want to cut out my center chest piece real quick here. Now I have that. I want to do rivet details, and what I usually do is I like to do that in my patterns. But what I do is I like to work the design into the pattern, so therefore when I do it, it's going to be symmetrical on both sides. Alright, there it is. Now, got my detail pieces cut out, got this piece. Time to transfer these guys to foam. And let's pin. But all right. Now the most important part is our bevel. So tilting my blade ever so slightly, and voila! I got my edge, got my square edges right here, and all right. Now you can see I have my side piece traced onto a piece of foam. Well, now, I have this piece. Before I heat this up and bend it, this edge right here, I know I'm going to have this soft and round this out. But I always feel in your design, if you know where you have your edges are going to be already taken down, while it's still flat, it's easier to work with. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge, with my Dremel, and let's go just knock the edge down a little bit. My trusty sanding sticks. And right here I have my 80 grit. And there are people saying, sanding sticks, Ted, where do you get those? Check out my video on tools of the trade, and I talk about making sanding sticks. So now I take my 80 grit sandpaper, and what I like to do is bring it to the edge of the table like so. Now what it does is by doing this, granted I already dremeled it down, by going over the sanding stick, it just kind of levels everything out and evens it up. If you want to get that nice, smooth, round edge, the best is just to kind of knock it down and then go back in with the sanding stick. All right, now go with our 120. Of course, my last but not least, 320. Now I bring in the my all-time favorite, the Propane Torch. Now, a lot of people out there are very intimidated by the torch. I understand why. You can still do this and use a heat gun if you'd like. But if you're going to do a heat gun, I would recommend you go back in with a finer grit of sandpaper. I would go like maybe like a finer, like take a 400 grit and just go through here and just knock down even more. But since the torch, it kind of melts it and seals it all at the same time, and I always like the finished results of the torch. So. Alright. Now, what I recommend though, when using the torch, it is heating it. It's also melting it. So be careful. You have to do a quick pass. If you slow down a little bit, you will not only melt it, you'll set your foam on fire. Now I got this done, we're going to preheat this because these parts that I like, before I do any assembly to these guys, I want to get this shoulder bent, heated up and shaped, and also I want to get this heat up and shaped. Now we're ready to glue. I got my parts all heated. I have my right and my left. Now, time to glue. I have my trusty glue pot and the ever popular Barge Cement. What I'm going to do is brush the edges here. Speed the process up, a little hair dryer. All right. Now this dry. Matter of fact, I can just stop babbling about it and just show you here. Line this up on my marks. The trick is, I always like to get the edge first, because that's always the most difficult thing to get. So always find you just touch your edge first, because you want to keep it nice and flush. And the more you do this, the less you'll have to go back and sand. And this is why the preheating really helps, because if I did not do this and did not preheat it, I'd be fighting this foam. So it's all good to have it all pre-warmed up and bent to the shape you want it to go into. Once again, stay nice and flush. And let's see. And there's a little step you can see, because this is my recess for the chest. I plotted out a lens so it follows exactly where I want it to go. Because now when you look at it, all right, let's do the other one. Here they are, my right and my left, ready to go, and I'm going to glue these guys together. And what I've always done, like I said, I always like to do the edge to edge first, very carefully. There we go, touching, they come down, make contact. And on the bottom right here, get this guy lined up, and flush, boom, there it is. There's a space. Of course, I'll throw a piece of foam back in here. But now we have this. Let's do a test fit on my body form. All right. There it goes. Look at that. Looking good. Take that in place. Just the way I like it there. Perfect. Now, it fits well. I like the distance of this. I like the curve here. Before I start doing my armor below this, I want to do a little additional lip. I like this guy, but I want to do like a little additional, another lip on this to come down. And I always find the best way to do this is go ahead and just take this off, and we'll lay some paper behind this and trace this off. There you go. As you can see, I have my paper. And what I do before I trace this line, I want to make sure my angle of my paper is coming straight down. This is my center line right here, dead center, so I make this mark first. It's going to be my start point. From this edge, I'm going to follow the edge of my foam piece here. All right, here we go. This is my my top edge of the foam piece. Let's cut this out. All right, there it is. Now let's put it on some foam. My right and my left. And you can see I went ahead and just, while it's already off, it did my nice round edges, got them all cleaned up and torched and ready to go. And my chest piece. But also now looking at this, I'm realizing that I want to go ahead and preheat this and curve this. Okay, like I said, I'd like to start with my edge first. All right, And there we go. Got that. Now, to do the other piece, which is getting a lot easier to do since it's in two pieces. And you see how this is kind of kicking in a little bit? That's going to be all right, because once I put this together, it's going to help push it out a little bit. So, bend up here, I like to start with the center first. All right. So let's go ahead and fit this on the body foam and take a look at it. Okay, here we go. Got it all taped on, so I can start plotting this out. And I realize that the next step to do now is not the lower half, it's actually the shoulders. Because I can't work on my back half until I know where the shoulder piece is going to fall. So I have to be able to have them match up. So I cut out a piece of paper, made a pattern. This is close to not exactly what I want. So our next step is I'm going to work on this shoulder to get it more to what I exactly want. So let's work on that. Well, before we start working out the bugs and that shoulder pattern I need to do, that's going to be a bit extensive, so I figured out let's going to wrap up part one on how to make male foam cosplay body armor. And this is you guys' first time seeing my video. Don't forget to subscribe to the link below, right here. And also, I have other videos there you can check out. How to make a foam helmet, and how to make female cosplay body armor. And also, you guys out there who are first time finding me, you can follow me at Twitter at EvilTed40, and also you can see more of my work, and you can contact me on my Facebook at EvilTedSmith. And don't forget to come back for part two on how to make male foam cosplay body armor right here on the Evil Ted channel.